We are on our third formative. This one was a little bit more difficult than the last two that you've done. Hopefully you didn't find it too difficult if you've been following along with our notes so far. If you are still struggling, let me know and we can work through this, get you all caught up. So for this first one, using the explicit formula, determine the fifth term in the sequence defined by this given equation. Now notice that there is this u sub n instead of an a sub n or a g sub n. U is just the general term that they use instead of a's and g's. And you'll see U's used most often in these formulas. You won't see a's and g's as much. We use a's and g's when teaching so that initially you can see the difference between them. But just by looking at the equation given, you should be able to determine whether or not it's geometric or arithmetic based on how it's set up. So for this one, fifth term, when n equals 5. So anytime I see an n, I'm going to plug in 5. So we have u sub 5 to signify the fifth term equals 2 times 1/4 to the 5 minus 1 power. I will open up my Desmos here. I plugged that in right into Desmos. 2 times 1/4 to the 4th power. 5 minus 1 is 4. And I get u sub 5 to equal a decimal, but I don't want a decimal. We have fractions. I want to stay with fractions. So I'm going to hit the fraction button, and I get 1 over 128. So the fifth term is 1 over 128. Number 2, given the explicit sequence below, find the 25th term. And we have our given equation. So when n equals 35. Again, everywhere I see an n, I'm plugging in 35 for the 35th term. So u sub 35 equals 20 minus 4 times 35 minus 1. Bring back up my Desmos. I have 20 minus 4 times 35 minus 1 is just 34. So I have the 35th term as negative 116. And if you've been following along, paying close enough attention during class, you should notice that this first sequence that they gave us is geometric because you have the n minus 1 as your exponent and it's being multiplied. And the second given equation or sequence is arithmetic because you have that minus 4 and then n minus 1 is being times by that common difference. Question number 3, using the sequence from question 2, fill in the table and graph the sequence. So we're using u sub n equals 20 minus 4 times n minus 1. And we need to fill in our table. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First term, second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term. If I plugged in 1, what do I get? If I plugged in 2, what do I get? And so forth. You can either plug 1 in for n and then plug in 2 for n and 3 for n, 4 for n, 5 for n, or you can look at this equation and realize that, remember, this is arithmetic, so a sub n equals a sub 1 plus d times n minus 1, where a sub 1 is my first term, 20 is my first term, and my common difference is negative 4. Meaning that to get from one term to the next, I'm adding negative 4. So the second term will be 16. 20 plus negative 4, 16. 12 is my third term, 8 is my fourth term, and 4 is my fifth term. If you did not realize that, that's okay. You can plug in each of the term numbers in for n. It'll take you more time, but you should get the same answers. And then we want to graph what we have into our graph here. So first term, actually rewind a sec. Okay, term number, that's my x value. It's what I plugged in, my input. And term value is my output, what I got out. It is y. So these are all coordinates. If we go like this, so we'll graph our coordinates. 1, 20, 2, 16, 3, 12, 4, 8, 5, 4. All right, and then notice that these dots form it looks like a line or a linear function, and that is correct. Arithmetic sequences form linear equations or linear functions. If you got something that does not look like a line, you have a mistake somewhere, and you'll need to go back and find that mistake.